Welcome to another episode of MacBreak Studio. I'm here with Mark, and we're looking at Molo files.
Molo. Show how you get your Molo Mojo back.
Awesome.
So what's a Molo? Is the first thing. What's a Molo?
Yeah.
So it's what it is in Motion. It's basically a layer or group of layers that you take out of Motion and bring back in.
Right. So let me store it somewhere on your hard drive.
Exactly. So let me show you. Here I'm in Motion, and I have a group that has a bunch of different little animated pieces in it. I can open it up and show you. There's a fair amount of stuff in here.
Sure.
This is actually part of a simplified part of a template from Motion VFX that we use in one of our Camera 3D tutorials. But the idea in Motion is, you can save everything and you can use it in other places. And before 5.3, you could take this group, this thing's called frame, this frame group here, and you could drag it to the file browser.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
Which doesn't exist anymore, right. But once it was in the file browser, it could be on your desktop, you could send it to somebody else, and they could drop that group into their Motion project, and it would come in intact with everything.
So it's like Motion's version of XML, in a way.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. So it's funny you mentioned that. I'll show you something about it. So you used to be able to drag this to the file browser, and the file browser is gone. So,
Can you say it the way you just did it again? The emphasis was,
file browser is
just gone.
It doesn't matter. You can click the import button to bring, if you want to bring stuff, you can click the import button in, or you can go to the Finder, and you can always drag, like I'll drag this basketball into this group, and you can still get content in and out. Right. But I'm going to delete that basketball. But if you try to drag this frame group to the Finder, it'll come out this weird XML thing.
Yeah.
And then if you try to drag it in, you can't.
Right.
So the whole drag and drop thing for Molo files doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So how do you deal with that? Here's what you do. Instead of dragging it to the Finder, what I'm going to do is in the library, I'm going to go down to my favorites. And you can see I've already got something in there. Favorites is one place you can store, you've built an animation of a bouncing ball or something you really like. You've keyframed something.
Or those frames.
You can save it. Or this group of layers, I'm going to drag over to favorites.
Yeah.
So there it is. And now it's available for any Motion project.
Got it.
But if I want to give it to somebody else, I could control click and say, reveal in Finder. Okay? And there, frame.molo.
Ah, there's your Molo.
Okay. Now, where it puts it is, I'm going to command click up here so we can see it puts it in the user, library, application support, Motion, library favorites. Long path, okay? Right. I'm going to actually take it out of there for a minute. And once I've taken it out of here, it's gone. Okay, so it's no longer in Motion. So if I wanted to give this to somebody else, they cannot drag and drop, okay? If they tried to drag and drop this in here, it's just not going to work. See, nothing happens.
Right.
So like, okay, well, I got it out, but how the heck do you get it in?
Right.
Well, you have to put it in that user library, in that path. Now, here's a little, kind of an aside, but this is really interesting. This is a great tip that I got from somebody that I don't have their name, and I'll try to find it and give credit, but they did a tech support thing. We get to talk to a lot of people on tech support, and this is the coolest thing because in the Finder, if you go to the Go menu, you don't see your library. You have to hold the Option key down, right? So if I top the Option key, we see library show up.
Right.
Okay, and not everybody knows that. Like, how do I get to my user library? If you go to your user, you won't see library here. Like, it's not there. What do I do? You have to have this trick of holding the Option key or use the terminal. Here's a better way. Check this out. So I'm going to select something else by default. I'm going to select this desktop. In the action gear, I'm going to go down and choose this show view options. Okay. Now, this has a bunch of different things you can show. Great, nice, but it doesn't have the thing we want. Watch this. If I select different items in the sidebar, nothing changes. But if I select the home folder, a new checkbox shows up.
Ah, show library folder.
Show library folder. So if I click that, the library folder now shows up when I have my home folder selected. So it's available, okay?
So you never have to use the Option trick again.
Not only that, if I go to the Go menu, the library shows up without holding the Option key, and a keyboard shortcut appears that wasn't there before, Shift-Command-L. So now, no matter where I am, Shift-Command-L will bring me right to my library. And from there, application support, and I actually have it open here. There's Motion, let me just make it a little bit bigger. Motion, library, favorites, okay? So now that I have that, I can drag this frame.molo file in there, go back to Motion, and here it is. Let's delete it out of the group. And to show you, I'll bring this new version back in and play. And there it is.
There's your frame.
There's your frame. Yeah. So that's how you can get your Molo Mojo back. You got to go through favorites. What's so funny about that?
It's just an awesome title. You know, it's exactly how you get your Molo Mojo back.
You can be back in business. So, in fact, our tutorials sometimes depend on, we provide people
with Molo files.
With Molo files, yeah. And this is how you can get them into Motion.
Which, by the way, we're still in the process of updating a lot of our Motion content to 10.3. And, well, are you done?
By the time this is out, the Motion...
Final Cut from
Warp Speed Motion for Final Cut Pro editors.
Yeah, so if you want to learn Motion, we have Getting Started in Motion, and we're going to have a product called Warp Speed Motion, like you just said, for Final Cut Pro editors. So that was a great tip, Mark. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching another episode of MacBreak Studio. We'll see you next week.